it's all about perspective, right? I mean, it's really all about like I I try not to get into that game of comparing myself to others because I'll always be disappointed, you know. And we'll talk a little bit later about the goal setting that
Mhm.
with real estate and setting numbers and stuff like that, and how that wasn't necessarily fulfilling. But
Welcome to the Maryland Real Estate Influencers Podcast, where we explore the ins and outs of the local real estate market. Join us as we chat with industry experts, uncovering tips, trends, and strategies to help you navigate Maryland's real estate landscape. Get ready to elevate your real estate game. Let's dive in. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you so very much for joining the Maryland Real Estate Influencers Podcast. Today, I have Tim Markland with me. Tim, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule and being on the podcast. Could you tell the listeners a little bit about you and who you work for and what you do?
yeah, first and foremost, thank you so much for inviting me on this. Super excited to hopefully bring some value. I am I've been in the real estate business for I'm going into my ninth year, and here up in Harford County with Berkshire Hathaway Penn Fed Realty, and been at the same brokerage since 2015 when my father and I got into the business. Got an amazing wife, three beautiful daughters, and we're just trying to trying to live the good life and get through day by day.
That's wonderful. Have you done any family vacations this summer?
Yeah, so we actually went on two vacations, which is kind of abnormal. We celebrated my oldest daughter's 21st birthday, her and her boyfriend down in Disney,
Fun.
and then 2 weeks later, we went to the Outer Banks, which is just our kind of paradise, of just a phenomenal laid back vacation. So
Good.
was able to take my parents and her dad and the girls and my oldest boyfriend, and it's a phenomenal trip. We do it every year.
That's excellent. I love those extended family vacations. They're one of my absolute favorite ways to go.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that.
Outer Banks is the place to go for a chill vacation.
Yes, definitely,
They should pl-
definitely.
they should definitely allow us to get some money for plugging the Outer Banks.
Sure. And they should have a if you will, their little slogan should be just a chill vacation, because I think that encapsulates exactly what it's like down there. It's just so relaxing. You unplug from everything.
100%.
I love that. So, when you're not, closing transactions here in real estate in Maryland, what do you like to do for fun?
Wow, see, that's a great question. For the past 30 years, I've been trying to get into golf, and I have not gotten any better. So I would really love. I need lessons, basically. I need lessons because I taught my dad how to play golf, and about 10 or 20 years ago, he beat me, and so that's when I threw away the clubs for a while. But now I'm starting to get back into it. But man, we got so much stuff going on with family and the daughters and everything. If it's not real estate time, it's family time, and just going in multiple different directions all at once. So
I love that. I love that. I'm not a golfer. I'll go to the driving range, and I can
uh-huh.
do that when my back is on a good day. And I can go there and have a beer and hit a couple balls, but I can't do the whole game.
Yeah,
Um,
the beer's the best part, you know.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you. So I wanted to talk to our listeners and give them some information about you and your market. We all know that here in Maryland, our production, our listings, everything is down by about 30 to 33% down here in Maryland. And so I want to be real specific about our market here. And if
Sure.
you could share about where your market is, if it's in a specific area, or if you expand out, and then tell us that over the last in the last 12 months, we
Mhm.
want to see how much production you had in 2022, 2023, and how
Sure.
you and your team have pivoted during this challenging time.
Yeah, yeah. So first and foremost, we are centralized here in Harford County, in Bel Air, and so our team or myself service Harford County primarily, and then some Cecil County and some Baltimore County, and every now and then a couple in Baltimore City or whatever. But try not to go too much further than that, just because there's plenty of opportunities here. One of the things, people are getting licensed in PA, and I just don't feel like I'd need to go that far to try to get business. As far as the numbers, and I'm glad you asked this prior to, because I did need to go back and look. I didn't realize, but in 2022, we did 15.8 million in sales volume, which equated out to 51 units. And that was down from the 2 years prior, because we were up at the 78 and 82 in 2020 and 2021. So that downward trend already started. So far this year, we're at 10.5 million in sales volume, and 27 units sold. We got about 4 pending, and so
that's quite a lot of production.
I guess so. It's all about perspective, right? I mean, it's really all about, like, I try not to get into that game of comparing myself to others, because I'll always be disappointed, and we'll talk a little bit later about the goal setting that with real estate and setting numbers and stuff like that, and how that wasn't necessarily fulfilling. But as far as our team, I got a great support behind me. It's family. My wife is in the business. My dad is in the business. Again, like I said before, my dad and I got into the business in 2015. My wife came in 2019, and then I got two agents on my team that I actually taught. I used to be a teacher at Beller High School for 16 and a half years, and 2 of those guys got into real estate, and now they're working with me as well. So just really blessed and fortunate to put people around me that can really help drive what we're trying to accomplish.
Oh, that is excellent. I would agree with you. I don't like to compare myself to other people, but I do like to compare myself to me and see about my month over month production, as well as my year over year production, and make it real specifically about me and what I'm doing. And it doesn't mean, and we'll go over that when we go into goals, is that I want to do certain amount of production, but just simply that, do I want to do better? Am I having the balance that I want out of life? Am I having enough time off and enough time at work and enough time focusing on my personal growth? So I'm always looking at the big picture, not just one little aspect of that.
Absolutely.
So thank you so very much for sending that information. Have you broken down the numbers? So over the last 12 months specifically, and I'm focusing on that because that's been the challenging time that I keep on hearing people talk about, that the production that you have, where it's coming from, repeat clients, referral business, your sphere of influence, is it leads? Where is that business coming from?
Yeah, so we're primarily sphere of influence and referrals from my sphere of influence. We don't buy any kind of leads from the Zillows or Realtor.coms, though I did that in the past. And as well as our company provides relocation services and online leads as well. And just took a step back from that in like 2020, 2021, because the business we had enough, and sometimes it's too much, which I think, again, perspective, right? I mean, some people would love to have too much, but you think you do, but then once you get there, maybe it's not as grand as you thought it would be.
Yes, that's a big one. That's for sure. Thank you so very much. And I love that perspective. And I love that you know those numbers so that you can see, again, to measure yourself over yourself. And just not only that, but to help your team hold them accountable for whatever they want to produce and what kind of business they want to have. I'm sure that is extremely helpful when speaking with those students that are now your business partners.
Yeah, and that's the grand thing too, is like real estate is different for everybody as far as what you want to accomplish. Do you want to be that mega team 100 some agents on your team type business, or do you want to just sell a few homes a year? And
Right.
there's no wrong answer to that. There's not a positive or a negative. It's genuinely how you create your business to fulfill what you want to achieve in life, you know.
So true. So true. What do you think do you have a daily success plan that you focus
Mm,
on every day when you come in, and or that you teach your team when they come in? Mondays you do this, Tuesdays you do that, Wednesdays do you
sure.
have something like that set up that you guys utilize?
So for myself, I'm a little bit more flexible with the team.
Okay.
But ultimately for myself, um, my most successful days are based on what I do in the morning. So I'm an early riser. I get out, and first thing I do is I take care of myself and get to the gym. I feel like if I don't get to the gym, the rest of my day is so discombobulated. But if I can just get there and focus on getting active and lifting weights and stuff like that. I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but while I am at the gym and I am lifting weights, I'm also listening to positive videos on YouTube, motivational things, podcasts, anything to just prime my mind for the day.
Mhm.
That I think we all have to battle the inner self, and I'm really just trying to be cognizant of putting myself in a good headspace so that when I do actually get to the office, I've already primed myself physically, mentally, and emotionally, because I think it's all about mindset. It all starts with mindset.
Oh, yes.
So, something else I do is, up on the wall, I have a list of affirmations that says who I am. Talks about me being a good dad and a good husband, and so I'm always focusing on the things that matter. I also have goals that I have written out that I'm looking at every day, and then furthermore, and it may sound cheesy or hokey or whatever, but I have a vision board. And what's cool is I can look at that vision board and I can see that I've already started checking things off that board. So I am accomplishing it. I'm just trying to stay centrally focused on why I'm doing what I'm doing. And when I start my days like that, everything falls into place. Now, do I do it every single day? No, so sometimes I don't get into the office, right away or whatever. But for the most part, that's what I'm doing. I'm priming my mindset so that as I move forward with my day, I feel like the more good intent that I have, the more that comes to me. Um, where I think a lot of times people are always looking for, who's going to help me, instead of how can I help others and keep people at the forefront of what I'm trying to do first. And, the business comes when you're just genuinely, authentically looking out for other people.
Oh, I agree. I agree completely with that. And I have the same kind of structure to my day. And I
Yeah.
get up 2 hours before I have to do anything. And I like to take that time to work, to take a walk, to pray, to meditate, to listen to some podcasts, to listen to some books as I'm working out and getting that in. And I have to do it because I find that if I don't do it then, I won't make time for myself for the rest of the day. I'll put
That's
everybody
key.
else next and first and in front of me. And then it's 8 o'clock and I'm like, oh, I think that's one thing I do for self-care is I sleep. So I'm a big 9 to 6 sleeper. That's me. There is just
Your
nothing
day
happening.
starts the night before,
It
you
most
know,
definitely does.
it definitely does. So
It definitely does.
yeah.
Do you share your strategies with your team, and do they have daily success plans that they utilize?
Um, so right now, the only team member that's really so I have one teammate that's kind of like an assistant to myself.
Okay.
And that's fine because that's what he got into the team for, is to kind of help leverage my time.
Hmm.
But the other one just came onto our team not too long ago, so we're working through those things and really just trying to align with like what they want to get out of this, um, I'm more concerned about what they're trying to get to and trying to help them get there versus just providing a blanket structure that says that on this day you're going to do this and on this day you're going to do that. But we are staying in constant communication throughout the week. And so, but at least once a week, I like to, meet in person to see what's going on.
Gotcha. 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 What are the trends that you're seeing in the market right now?
Wow. Um, in regards to what I'm seeing with people buying and selling, or trends as far as marketing, promotion, where would you like to go with it?
So I keep it open for that reason because it's a very
Okay.
interesting to see where people take that question, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we can talk about what you're seeing trends in the marketplace. So that way, if there's agents that are listening on here that are having challenges getting contracts accepted, maybe
Hmm.
that you have some insights on how you're getting your contracts accepted. We can talk about what you're seeing when it comes to listings hitting the market and how quickly you're seeing them stay on the market.
Yeah.
What the days that they're on the market,
Right.
whatever you think is most that you have the data to share.
Yeah, so in our market right now, it is a seller's market. There's very low inventory, especially in Bel Air. I know in other places, days on market is maybe a little bit more. And of course, with these kind of interviews, it's always a timestamp, right? I mean, somebody could be
Yes,
watching this a year from now, and it could be completely different.
most
Um,
definitely.
yeah, but as a listing agent, you know, I've been trying to shoot for more listings because listings provides more leverage. That what I'm seeing is people that are having the money to cover an appraisal gap, or whether it's a full appraisal waiver or if it's a partial appraisal waiver. There's some people that are waiving inspections, which is crazy to me, and
Yeah.
certainly I would not recommend that to one of my buyers. But I've only had one that was a licensed contractor, and he was like, "Look, I'm not scared of anything." So
Sure.
yeah, and so okay, that makes sense.
For him, yeah,
But for the most part, you'd hate to get into a house and realize that how many things are going wrong with that house if you would have only gotten an inspection.
right.
Um, what else have we seen? The free rent backs. I
Mhm.
mean, basically, sellers are saying, "Hey, this is what I want," and buyers are needing to adjust to that, even to the point where some agents are putting in the comments like, "Seller would like to use this title company." It's like, come on, man, can't we just get one thing that we want? Does it have to be everything that the seller wants? Can we just use our own title company? But then you're
Right.
afraid if you use your own, if you say that you're going to use another title company, then you're going to lose the deal.
Right.
So a lot of things are being very catered to the sellers, but again, with the trends that we're trying to focus on when we do get listings, it's just really promoting them, with through video, through drone footage, through YouTube, through reels, and YouTube shorts, and just so, because, and it's not so much that all that activity is going to, yes, it's going to get more eyes on your listing, but it's also an example of how you're going to promote other people's homes. So when they're thinking about listing their property, they're going to say, "Well, man, I see Tim all over the place with all these different videos and stuff that it really looks like he gets it out there," which we do. Um, it helps to listings help get more listings.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And that brings me to my next question is about technology.
Mhm.
Is there any new technology that you're utilizing now in the last 12 months that may be different? Are you one of the individuals that have always used drone footage in your listing presentations
Mhm.
and when you're selling and marketing? Is that something that you did, or is that something that's new that's added? Because in all the interviews that I'm doing, I haven't heard anybody mention drone
Okay.
video. And so I'm very intrigued by that. I have a coworker that was just showing me today that he's doing drone photography
Mhm.
and videos for people. So that ironically all falling into place today.
Yeah. So with almost every listing that we do, unless there's a junk house next door, or the location of it is not the most glorious location. Yeah, we'll do drone footage. We've done drone footage on condos. I think there's just something appealing when people see an aerial shot that's
Mhm.
different from what they're normally seeing. They're more apt to be engaged in that. And so, a lot of times too is, when you're looking at things on social media and, you got to think, as you're looking, you got to think, what makes you stop? What makes you stop and engage in a post? So that when you're putting out content like that, that you're putting out content that entertains you.
Oh, yes.
We've been doing a lot. I've really been doubling down on branding,
Okay.
and providing not only educational content and not only marketing listings, but also a little bit of humorous stuff too. And there's a lot of great stuff out there that when I stop and I watch a video and it makes me chuckle, I feel like I gotta like recreate that, and I recreate that, and it's what R&D, rip off and duplicate, you know. But when people, for me, this a lot of this success has come from just being omnipresent, being everywhere, and letting people see my personality, because people do want to work with people that have, a good personality. And so, and I think, with some of the funny ones that I've done, people get engaged with that. And then once they engage with you once, it's the algorithm shows you more of what you're liking. So I might be putting out a few funny ones, but then I put one out for a house, and because people have seen the other one, they're also going to see the house. So it just being consistent and putting stuff out that is creating value. It's not like you're trying to hook and bait somebody. You're really trying to put something out there that just kind of shows who you are as a person, the creativity that you're bringing to your business, and ultimately that's where people are right now. People are in front of their phones, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and even LinkedIn.
Hmm.
That's where people are, and if you're genuinely prospecting, you need to get to where people are. And what better way to prospect than to get 1,000 views on a video?
Very
You
true.
just reached out to 1,000 people. Could you do that on your phone in one day? I don't
Definitely
think
not.
so.
I don't think so either.
So that you got to go to where the people are, and that's where they are right now, and that's where we're really focusing on. And again, genuinely trying to provide content that's going to help people, entertain people, and ultimately broadcast our listings in a very in-depth, omnipresent way, so that when people think to list their house or to buy a house, you're the first person that they think of.
Exactly. I
You
love
know.
that. So I want to ask also about the goals that you have for your team as well as for yourself. And
Mhm.
it don't have to be necessarily production numbers.
Yeah.
I'm open to hearing about your production numbers as well. But if
Mhm.
if if you're trying to grow your team to uh, one contract a day, or if you're growing to one contract a week, one contract a month, I don't, however you seem to measure your goals, because I'm finding that everybody measures them a little bit differently. Or growing their team by 3 people in the next year, specifically for listings or specifically for buyers agents. So what are you thinking about personally, as well as for your team?
You know, I used to think that putting an amount of units or sales volume was the key to goal setting. And, there was in 2020, 20 from 2018, we had sold 23 homes to 36 homes in 2019. And so the goal was to get to 50. And of course, in 2020, it went absolutely bonkers, and we ended up getting 78. Now, you would have thought, man, that's awesome. You went from 36 to 78 and you broke your goal of 50. And you get there and you just realize that, okay, now what? Like I, I I'm not, I thought being, looking for that high goal that I was going to feel different when I got there. And you don't. So it really helped me examine like where I should be really focusing on, what goals I should be setting. And it's really about quality of life. It's really about the quality of my mindset. I mean, to a certain degree, I struggle with anxiety and depression and stuff like that. So I know that on the daily, I need to get that morning in. Like that's like goal number one, is just to get the morning in, right? And to keep healthy in my mind and my spirit. So those are the things that I focus more on. And I firmly believe that doing the little things every day creates a big snowball of success.
Most definitely.
Getting so caught up in like this big goal or dream over here can drive you crazy. But
Sure.
if you're just focusing on the daily activities and truly just trying to touch as many people as you can in any given day, and when you do get business, that you're providing the best level of service possible, and that you're really genuinely looking out for people rather than just looking up at the whiteboard and seeing how many units and the sales volume and all that. If you just look out for other people's best interest, and you look out for yourself and keeping your healthy mindset, everything else falls into place. It
Mhm.
does, you know? And the troubling thing that I'm going through right now, which I'm wondering, like, why am I even being interviewed, is like I'm struggling even to today, just like, okay, we got a few pendings under contract, but what's after that? And my wife tells me all the time, just relax. It's gonna come. And just
Mhm.
keep on doing the little things that make a difference. And over time, that your void will be filled. And then I'll be complaining about, oh my God, I'm so busy. It's
I
it's
think your
like
wife might be a keeper. I
she
think
is a keeper.
she
It's,
has
it's
the
like,
secret right there.
you're in the office and you're like, man, I want to be on vacation right now. And you're thinking about vacation. And you're not even thinking about what you're doing right now. And then you finally get to go on vacation. And then you're on the beach and you're thinking, man, all this stuff about work. Like the goal for me is like, just be where your feet are,
Yes.
embrace the moment, embrace what's going on right now, and to have gratitude and to have perspective. Because if you keep on wanting and wanting and wanting and never appreciating what you actually have here right now, I mean, eh, I shouldn't even be complaining about this stuff when all my basic needs are being met. And
I tell
that's
you,
that's the constant battle day in and day out of like just trying to keep that positive mindset.
it
It's a
it
struggle.
it's starting your day off right, I think. Everything has changed since I started my day off the way we discussed with my workout, with giving gratitude, praying and meditating, listening to positive podcasts, listening to positive audiobooks. It has changed everything. And I tell you, it also has opened my mind to other things. I don't know how to explain it, but like it's a catalyst of getting the juices flowing in your mind. And I just start then texting myself and writing notes because I have all these different ideas that just come to me as I'm
Hmm.
taking that time for myself, and I'm confused by it. But I think, maybe God's just putting something more into me at that moment. And these things are just coming to me, like hosting this podcast, um, things like that. Hey, you've heard about this person, or Colleen Rippey with Baltimore Real Producers mentioned this person. Maybe you should reach
Hmm.
out to them. And it just starts the flow. But I
Yeah.
think it all starts by taking that time for yourself in the morning.
Yep.
And so that is wonderful. I know we don't have too much. We have about 5 more minutes. So there's a few things that I'd like to ask you. One is I always like to ask people if there's any charity that is important to them. And I know that you had shared with me that you have a charity that is very important to you and to your family. And I'd love to give
Hmm.
you a few moments to discuss that.
Yeah. So my wife, who's on our real estate team, recently had a great opportunity to work for what's called the Side Out Foundation. The Side Out Foundation utilizes the sport of volleyball, which our whole family is very passionate about. I coached at the high school level for 10 years. Of course, my wife's been on, taking kids to volleyball practice. All three of my girls have played volleyball. Even my youngest is still playing, and now my oldest is coaching where I coached
Very
as an
cool.
assistant coach coming up this season. So we've always been immersed in the sport of volleyball. And every October, there are events called Dig Pink events, and they use the sport of volleyball to help raise awareness and raise money for research for breast cancer for breast cancer awareness and research. And I would be remiss if I didn't bring that up right now, because my wife is just ecstatic, over the moon. Amy's pumped. We started a Dig Pink event in 2010 at Bel Air High School, and every year it's just grown and grown and grown. And actually, Bel Air High School, we just found out, is the #1 school in the state of Maryland that has raised the most funds for breast cancer awareness and breast cancer research. And she got to actually go to the lab down in Virginia to actually see the research that they're doing. And it's just, there's so many things on the horizon, and it's just such a, any kind of cancer is just that. I think we're gonna see some results for cures and stuff like that in the future, hopefully in our lifetime, because it just, it takes out so many people. So we're big with that. And if you want more information on that, you can go to side-out.org, and you can see all the great things that they're doing for breast cancer patients and the research and their families.
Thank you so much for that. So if we have an agent that is local to Bel Air in the Harford County area here in Maryland, and they would like to reach out to you to find out more about you and or your team, or even possibly joining your team, would you like those individuals to reach out to me and for me to reach out to you, or would you like to now provide any content information they could reach out to you directly?
Sure. Yeah. So my direct phone number is 443-966-1208. We're on Facebook and Instagram at the Markland Advantage. And we're on TikTok at TMA Real Estate, which is growing as well, and YouTube at the Markland Advantage. We also, as you are doing, we have a podcast called the TMA Connection. And it's a podcast that focuses on people that are making a difference in the lives of others. And it's whether it's life, community, or real estate. It's kind of a combination of everything. And so interviewing local business owners, interviewing professionals, mortgage lenders, what's going on in the market, to people that are, have good charities that we're just trying to promote and bring everybody together, because as real estate agents, we're connectors. And when people need a referral, we know a lot of people. So I think it's just going to bring more value to people, and the more you give, the more you receive.
I love that. Thank you so much, Tim. I so appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule and coming onto the podcast and sharing the light that you have here in Bel Air with the other agents that are in our area, and showing them that it is possible in a down market to still do a good amount of production and live a very comfortable lifestyle with the production that you're doing, and that you're still able to give to a very important cause. So I appreciate you taking the time and coming on here. Thank you all for listening. If you are interested, please reach out to Tim directly if you have any questions for him. And if you're liking what you're hearing and are inspired by the agents that you're listening to, please give us an honest review on any of the different podcasting services that you're listening to, and give us an honest review about how things are working. I thank you so very much for listening and tuning in today. Have a great afternoon. Thank you for joining the Maryland Real Estate Influencers podcast. We'd like to ask you 2 favors. Number 1, forward this podcast to 3 of your favorite realtor friends. They'll thank you for it, and I'll thank you for it too. Number 2, we'd love reviews. It helps get the word out.